Your life doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It begins exactly where you are, with exactly what you have right now. This isn't just another feel-good line. It's a truth that can completely change how you approach your life today. Most people wait. They wait for the right time, the right mood, the right plan, the perfect set of tools, circumstances, or even permission from someone else before they take action. But waiting is expensive. It delays growth, kills momentum, and quietly steals potential from under your feet. What if the secret to massive change isn't waiting for perfect, but moving despite imperfection? What if all you needed to transform your life was to stop looking for excuses and start working with what's already in front of you? This message is for anyone feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or uncertain about where to begin. Because the truth is, you already have everything you need to start. You don't need to reinvent yourself overnight. You don't need everyone's approval or external validation. What you need is one thing: the decision to act. To act now, with what you have, with who you are. If you're ready to shift your mindset, build resilience, and create momentum that lasts, this guide will show you exactly how to do it. Starting from zero is still starting, and it's more powerful than you think. #own your starting point. If you want to change your life, start where you are. Not where you wish you were. Not where someone else is. Right here. Right now. That's where life begins to turn around. That's where transformation starts. But here's the trap most people fall into. They look back. They replay every bad decision. They blame their childhood. They blame the people who left them. They blame what they didn't get, the breaks they never caught. And before they even take one step forward, they drag the pain of the past into the present. You can't build a new future while your old pain is in charge of your mind. You have to stop letting your history be your excuse for standing still. We've all made mistakes. We've all said the wrong thing, done the wrong thing, stayed too long in the wrong place. But your mistakes are not your identity. Your worst chapters are not your whole book. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not stuck unless you decide to stay stuck. You are human, and right now you are in control. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. No new year. No Monday. No fresh motivation is coming to save you. If your mindset is built on blame instead of building, you will stay exactly where you are. At some point, you have to look in the mirror and say, "This is where I am. This is what I have. And this is where I begin." That level of emotional ownership changes everything. You don't need the perfect past. You don't need approval from others. You don't need more time. You need to stop making the past the reason you don't move forward. Here's something most people never admit. Some people get addicted to their pain. They wear it like a badge of honor. I went through this. I was hurt by that. I never had this opportunity. And slowly, their pain becomes the most important thing about them. But pain is not a purpose. Pain is not a strategy. Pain is not the foundation for a successful future. It's the lesson you build on, not the home you live in. There's no power in pointing fingers. There's no freedom in needing someone to blame. Blame delays growth. Blame keeps you bitter. Blame keeps you blind to the truth. You are capable of more than you're doing right now. You don't change your life by waiting for an apology. You don't level up by waiting for someone to recognize your pain. That's not how success works. You have to move whether people understand or not, whether they support you or not, whether your past is clean or messy, because your life, it's yours, not your parents', not your bosses', not your partner's, yours. And it doesn't matter how long you've been stuck or how far behind you feel. Every single day is a brand new starting line, if you treat it like one. There are people who had every reason to quit, but they didn't. Why? Because they took ownership. They didn't waste their energy trying to undo the past. They worked with what they had, what they knew, and they built something real. And you can do the same. Your job now is not to be perfect. It's not to impress anyone. It's not to overthink. Your job now is to own where you are. If your mindset is weak, admit it. If your discipline is missing, admit it. If your habits are poor, admit it. Then, get to work on changing those things. Stop hiding from your reality. That's not strength. Strength is facing it head-on. Strength is saying, "This is where I am, but I will not stay here forever." That's power. That's confidence. That's the foundation of real transformation. Stop comparing yourself to someone 5 years ahead of you. You don't know their journey. You don't know their scars. All you're seeing is the highlight reel, not the behind-the-scenes struggle. Comparison steals focus. It steals energy. The only thing you control is your next move. Your power doesn't come from your past. It comes from this moment, right now. Progress doesn't start with perfection. It starts when you say, "No more excuses. No more delays. No more waiting." That single choice creates momentum. And once momentum kicks in, everything changes. You'll build better routines. You'll rebuild your belief system. You'll learn to trust yourself again. You can turn your entire life around starting with one choice. The choice to take ownership and move forward. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need perfect conditions. Growth doesn't wait for things to be easy. It waits for you to decide. Every strong person you admire started somewhere. Most of them started at the bottom, no confidence, no support, no clear path. But they made one choice. Stop blaming. Start building. No one's coming to save you, and that's the best news. Because it means you're the one in control. You decide how this story is written. You're not as lost as you think. You're not as broken as you feel. You still have untapped strength inside you. And it all starts with owning exactly where you are, without shame, without blame, and without delay. This is your turning point. You don't need a better past, you need a stronger mindset. You don't need luck, you need action. You don't need anyone else to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself enough to start. And once you start, stay consistent. Show up every day even when it's hard. Even when you don't feel like it. Because showing up is how you rebuild trust in yourself. You're not too late. You're not too old. You're not too young. You're not too broken. You are alive. And as long as you're alive, there's time. Time to start. Time to grow. Time to build the life you know you're capable of living. Start right here. Start right now. And don't stop. Most people believe that their life will change when something big happens. A new job. A big break. A sudden stroke of luck. But the truth? Massive change is almost always built on something small. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when life feels perfect. Today. Now. With one step. One choice. One single action that says, "I care enough about my life to move," even if it's small. When life feels overwhelming, your brain starts to shut down. You overthink. You freeze. You tell yourself you need more time, more money, more clarity. But none of that is true. You don't need a perfect plan, you need a single move in the right direction. Because action, no matter how small, sends a powerful message to your mind. I am not stuck. I am not helpless. I am moving forward. And the moment you take one step, something inside you shifts. Your confidence begins to return. Your energy starts to rise. Your mindset changes because you've proven to yourself you still have control. Most people wait for a huge change before they start living differently. They want the perfect timing, the perfect mindset, the perfect opportunity. But perfection is a trap. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll wait forever. Because perfection doesn't come first, progress does. The truth is, clarity comes from movement, not from sitting still. Motivation comes after action, not before it. Confidence grows when you do the small things, not when you dream about big things. If your room is messy, don't think about organizing the whole house. Clean one corner. If your finances feel out of control, don't panic about your entire future. Pay one overdue bill. If your life feels chaotic, don't try to rewrite everything at once. Take a 5-minute walk. These things sound simple. Too simple. But they matter. Because when you win small, your mind begins to believe big. When you take control of one thing, you start to feel capable again. It's not about fixing your whole life in one day. It's about proving to yourself you're not powerless. People love to say, "I'm just waiting for motivation." But here's the reality. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation comes and goes based on mood, weather, or random life events. If you rely on motivation, you'll keep waiting. But if you start taking action, small, consistent action, motivation starts showing up. As a byproduct of progress. Clean your desk? You feel a little lighter. Drink water instead of soda? You feel a little sharper. Send one email you've been avoiding? You feel a little more in control. That's how confidence is rebuilt. Not through waiting, but through action. The longer you delay something, the heavier it feels. That task you've been putting off? It doesn't just sit there, it grows. It steals focus. It feeds anxiety. And the only way to shrink it is to start. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to move. Because action breaks fear. Action ends doubt. Action is the cure to feeling stuck. There's something powerful about keeping promises to yourself. Even small ones. Getting out of bed when you said you would. Making your bed before you leave the room. Drinking water when you said you'd cut back on soda. These actions seem tiny, but they build self-respect. They tell your brain, I keep my word. I am trustworthy to myself. And that changes everything. Because when you trust yourself, you stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop letting fear talk you out of progress. This isn't about impressing anyone. It's not about posting it online or making a big announcement. It's about quietly reclaiming your power. Do something today that improves your life, even a little. Clean one corner of your room. Read 10 pages of a book instead of scrolling. Take a 5-minute walk outside. Cook one meal instead of ordering out. These small actions compound. Day after day, they stack into real transformation. Because big results are built on tiny daily choices. You don't need anyone to clap for you. You don't need external validation. Your progress doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. In fact, the quiet steps often change you the most. Because when no one's watching, you're doing it for you. Not for applause, not for attention, but for growth. Think of one thing. Just one that you've been avoiding. Could be as simple as replying to an email, folding laundry, or making a phone call. Do it now, not tomorrow. Because when you act in the face of resistance, you take back control. You stop being a prisoner of your own mind. You send yourself a clear message. I am not giving up. I am still in the fight. That's how momentum is built. Not with a big win, but with 1,000 tiny ones. The secret to real progress isn't speed, it's consistency. You don't need to do something big today. You just need to do something every day. Progress isn't about winning once. It's about showing up repeatedly. Because when you keep moving, even slowly, you break the cycle of helplessness. You create energy. You create belief. Your life changes not when everything gets better, but when you choose to take one small step today that makes tomorrow a little easier. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Just act. That's how real change begins. That's how your future is built. One step, one action, one day at a time. There's a type of honesty that changes your life. Not the kind you tell other people to look humble. Not the kind you post online to seem vulnerable. I'm talking about the honesty you whisper to yourself when no one's watching. The kind that stings. The kind that feels like a punch in the stomach. The kind that makes you say, wow, I've been lying to myself for a long time. That's the honesty that sets you free. And it's uncomfortable because truth always is. But discomfort is where transformation begins. Most people don't want the truth. They want comfort. It's easier to say, I'm doing fine, than to admit you're falling apart. It's easier to blame someone else than to admit you've been distracted, lazy, or settling for less. But the problem is this, you can't build a better life on top of lies. You can't grow while pretending everything is okay when it's not. Here's what truth sounds like. I waste hours scrolling on my phone every day. I've let fear stop me from trying new things. I'm not where I want to be because of my own choices, not just bad luck. It's not easy to say, but it's powerful. We've all said things like, I don't have time. I don't know where to start. I can't help it. But most of the time, that's not the truth. It's an escape route. We tell these stories to avoid the real work, because facing the truth is uncomfortable. It forces you to take responsibility. But here's the shift. The discomfort of truth doesn't break you. It builds you. It wakes you up. It forces you to stop drifting and start choosing. That sharp pain you feel when you admit something you don't like, that's not failure. That's growth trying to break through. That's your higher self saying, "Good. Finally, we can do something about this." Everyone wants confidence. Everyone wants strength. But real confidence isn't built from pretending. It's built from truth. It's built from earning self-respect. And you earn self-respect by being brutally honest about where you are and choosing to change. It's not because they don't have talent. It's not because they don't have potential. It's because they don't want to feel the discomfort of honesty. They'd rather blame someone else. They'd rather keep repeating the same excuses. They'd rather stay numb than face what's real. But you can't change what you won't confront. You can't fix what you won't face. Ask yourself, what have I been avoiding? What habits are killing my progress? What truth scares me the most? Sometimes the thing holding you back is you, and admitting that is heavy. Feels like failure. But here's the reality. It's actually the start of freedom. Because once you admit the truth, you don't have to fake anything anymore. You don't have to pretend you're okay when you're not. You don't have to keep performing for people who don't matter. Facing your truth doesn't mean hating yourself. It doesn't mean beating yourself up. It means saying, "This is where I've been. This is what I've allowed. This is what I've avoided. But I'm done living like this." That's not weakness. That's strength. Takes courage to call yourself out. Takes even more courage to forgive yourself and move forward. Because the goal isn't guilt, the goal is responsibility. The goal is choosing to stop outsourcing your power to excuses, distractions, or old pain. 1. Clarity, you finally see what's been holding you back. 2. Control, you stop blaming external things and start focusing on what you can change. 3. Direction, once you know the truth, you know exactly where to focus your effort. Honesty gives you power. Because nothing is heavier than living a lie. And nothing is lighter than facing it and moving on. When you avoid your truth, it doesn't disappear. It grows. It controls you. It sits there in the back of your mind, stealing your energy and peace. But the moment you face it, it loses its power. It becomes something you can handle. It becomes a lesson instead of a chain. Maybe it's that you've been lazy. Maybe it's that you've let fear run your life. Maybe it's that you've let people use you. Maybe it's that you've settled for a version of yourself you know isn't your best. Whatever it is, face it. Not to punish yourself, but to free yourself. Because once you admit it, you can do something about it. When you finally tell yourself the truth, you stop chasing approval. You stop pretending you're happy with average. You stop lying about why you're stuck. And in that raw, uncomfortable space, something amazing happens. Clarity. Clarity about what you need to change. Clarity about what you really want. Clarity about who you need to become. Don't just admit your truth and stop there. Use it. Use it as fuel. Use it to build habits that actually serve you. Use it to set boundaries you've been afraid to set. Use it to finally choose progress over perfection. Growth doesn't come from pretending. It comes from honesty. From facing what's broken and fixing it piece by piece. From acknowledging what's real, even if it's messy. And choosing to keep moving forward. So here's the challenge. Be brutally honest with yourself today. Write it down. Say it out loud if you need to. And then make one small decision that moves you forward. Because hiding from your truth only delays your life. Facing it, that's how you finally set yourself free. One of the biggest traps people fall into is waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect plan, the perfect energy, the perfect support system. And because of that mindset, they never start. Perfection doesn't exist. It never has. What people call perfect timing is just hindsight. In the moment, it never feels perfect. It feels uncertain, scary, and messy. So if you keep chasing perfect, you'll keep delaying progress. You'll keep watching opportunities pass by while you wait for an imaginary ideal. You don't need more to start, you need courage. Courage to take the step, even when you feel unprepared. Courage to work with your current tools, your current mindset, your current habits. This isn't about lowering your standards. It's about being honest about your resources and choosing to move forward anyway. If your focus is weak, simplify your day. If your energy is low, take smaller steps. If you don't know everything, learn as you go. That's maturity. That's growth. That's how progress is made. People think perfectionism is about high standards, but most of the time it's just fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of doing it wrong. Chasing perfect feels productive, but it's not. It's avoidance. It's procrastination with good branding. It's hiding behind preparation because starting feels too uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Getting it wrong is part of getting it right. No one who ever built something great started with perfect conditions. They started messy, uncertain, scared, and they figured it out along the way. Some people say, "I'll do it when I feel like it," but motivation is unreliable. If you only work when you're in the mood, you'll stay inconsistent forever. Winners don't wait for perfect energy. They build systems that keep them moving even when they don't feel like it. Because discipline gets things done when motivation is nowhere to be found. Growth doesn't happen because everything around you aligns. It happens because you decided to move forward despite the chaos. You didn't feel ready, but you started. You didn't have the best tools, but you worked. You didn't know all the steps, but you took the first one. And that decision is more powerful than any perfect plan. Think about every person you admire: entrepreneurs, athletes, creators, leaders. Do you think they waited until everything was perfect? No. They built momentum with what they had, then improved along the way. It's easy to look at someone else's success and think, they had it all figured out. But what you see is the result, not the process. The process was messy, full of mistakes, full of trial and error. Your journey will be too, and that's okay. People lose years of their life because they're busy refining plans they never execute. They rewrite their goals 100 times. They keep buying tools they never use. They wait for inspiration that never comes, all while time keeps passing. And one day they wake up and realize, I didn't need perfect. I just needed to start. Forget perfection. Focus on clarity. What's one thing you can do today? What's one area you can improve with the resources you already have? Stop chasing complex plans that look good on paper but never leave your notebook. Real success comes from doing the basics consistently, not from waiting for perfect strategies. Even if you hit perfect today, it'll change tomorrow. So stop using it as your standard. Aim for truth, effort, progress. Work with the thoughts you have, the energy you have, the tools you have. Build something from that and watch it evolve. Maybe your truth today is that you're tired. Fine, work with that. Take smaller steps, but keep moving. Maybe your truth is that you feel overwhelmed. Fine, simplify your tasks, but don't stop. Maybe your truth is that you don't feel confident. Fine, act anyway. Confidence will come later. Strength isn't built in perfect conditions, it's built in messy ones. Forget being perfect. Forget being ready. Forget being flawless. Your only standard should be this. Did I show up? Show up when it's boring. Show up when it's uncomfortable. Show up when no one notices. Because showing up builds resilience. Showing up builds trust in yourself. Showing up builds a life that works even when life isn't perfect. Stop chasing perfect. Start working with what's real. That's how people win. Not because it's easy, but because they choose to move forward anyway. Every day is an opportunity to prove something. Not to the world, not to strangers online, not even to your friends, but to yourself. Because at the end of the day, your confidence isn't built from applause. It's built from how you show up when nobody's watching. Here's the truth. Most people drift through their days with no direction. They wake up, go through motions, tick boxes, scroll endlessly, and go to bed feeling like nothing actually changed. That kind of life drains your energy. It makes you doubt yourself. It creates the illusion that you're working hard but getting nowhere. The fix? Daily wins. Small, simple actions that remind you every day that you're capable, growing, and in control. You don't need to fix your entire life in one day. You don't need to become a completely different person overnight. You just need one solid win today. One thing you can finish, one step you can take, one decision that moves you forward. And tomorrow you do it again. That's how self-respect grows, not from dramatic change, but from consistent effort. Make your bed before leaving your room. Stick to your workout instead of skipping. Cook one healthy meal instead of ordering fast food. Spend 1 hour fully focused, phone away, on something meaningful. Say no when it's easier to say yes to things that drain you. These things seem small, but they matter because they're decisions. And decisions shape identity. 1. They build trust in yourself. Every time you follow through on a promise, you teach yourself, I can rely on me. 2. They create momentum. One win leads to another. Wins build energy and energy builds progress. 3. They provide direction. Instead of drifting, you know what you accomplished. And that matters for your mindset. Your brain loves evidence. It wants proof that what you're doing matters. When you track and recognize your daily wins, you're literally reprogramming how your brain sees you. If you constantly ignore your wins, you'll convince yourself you're not moving even when you are. But when you celebrate even small progress, you strengthen your confidence and motivation. Make a short list, write 3 to 5 things that, if you finish them, would make you feel proud by the end of the day. Keep it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself with massive tasks. Start small and grow. Commit fully, don't half-do it. If you said you'd do it with focus and care. They confuse motion with progress. They stay busy but don't create wins. And because they don't feel progress, they burn out, quit, or stay stuck. Daily wins break that cycle. They give you proof that what you do matters. You don't need to post them. You don't need to tell anyone. You just need to recognize them yourself. Say it out loud. I did what I said I would. Write it down. Feel the pride even for something small. Because confidence isn't built on one big success story. It's built on thousands of quiet wins that nobody else sees. Motivation comes and goes. Consistency stays. When you commit to daily wins, you don't have to feel amazing to move forward, you just have to show up. That's how real discipline is built, not from hype, but from showing up for yourself every day. Some days will feel heavy. Some days you won't feel like moving at all. That's exactly when daily wins matter most. Because when you show up on bad days, you teach yourself something powerful. Even when I feel low, I still move. I still care. I still fight. That's how self-respect grows. That's how resilience is built. When you start stacking daily wins, something inside you changes. You start to think differently, walk differently, speak differently, not because something outside changed, but because you changed inside. You become someone who doesn't just talk about growth, you live it. As you stack wins, your mindset shifts. You stop tolerating habits that keep you small. You stop giving energy to things that drain you. You start focusing on what actually matters. That's why daily wins are so powerful. They pull you into a new standard of living one choice at a time. 1. Pick one thing. 2. Do it fully. 3. Recognize the win. 4. Repeat tomorrow. This is how momentum is built. This is how confidence is earned. This is how you stop drifting and start leading your life with intention. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel strong. You just need to win today. Because every daily win is proof that you're moving, growing, and becoming the person you know you can be. Regret is one of the heaviest things you can carry. It's not the event itself that hurts the most. It's the fact that you keep reliving it. You keep rewinding that moment, that decision, that mistake, and punishing yourself for it over and over again. But here's the truth. Regret doesn't fix anything. It doesn't change the past. It doesn't make you better. It only steals your present. Every moment you spend replaying what already happened is a moment stolen from what could be happening right now. Your future doesn't live in your past. It lives in your present decisions. So if your focus is stuck on what you can't change, you're wasting what you can. The person who made those choices. That's not the same you standing here today. Back then, you didn't know what you know now. Back then, you didn't have the experiences you have now. Back then, you weren't as aware as you are now. So why keep punishing yourself for something a past version of you did? You're growing. You're evolving. That's the point of life. Reflection is healthy. It's how we learn. But regret masquerades as reflection. Pretends to be thoughtful when really it's just self-punishment. Reflection asks, what's the lesson here? And then moves forward. Regret says, let's replay this failure one more time and beat ourselves up again. One leads to growth. The other leads to guilt. Some people think holding on to regret is noble, like they have to carry it forever as proof that they care. But regret isn't loyalty. You don't owe your past a life sentence. You don't have to keep reliving something just because it hurt you. You don't have to keep feeling bad to prove you've learned. The lesson is what you keep. The guilt is what you let go. Letting go of regret doesn't mean what happened didn't matter. It means you finally accept reality. You can't go back. You can't change it. But you can choose differently now. It means you take the lesson and leave the pain behind. Here's the irony. People who live in regret often create more regret. Because while they're busy thinking about what they should have done, they're missing what they could be doing now. They waste the present and end up regretting that too. It's a cycle that never ends until you decide, enough, I'm done living there. Right now is where your power is. Right now is where your next decision lives. Right now is where you can create something different. Ask yourself, what can I do today that moves me forward? What can I fix, improve, or start now? Because the only moment you control is this one. Not the one from 2 years ago, not even the one from yesterday. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was okay. It's about saying, I refuse to let this control me anymore. It's about freeing your mind to focus on what actually matters. Forgive yourself for not knowing better at the time. Forgive yourself for being human. Forgive yourself for choosing comfort when you should have chosen growth. Because carrying regret forever doesn't make you noble. It just makes you stuck. If you regret something, ask, what did I learn from it? Write it down. Be clear about it. Then make a promise. I will use this lesson, but I will not carry this pain anymore. That's how you turn regret into strength. That's how you turn mistakes into wisdom. One reason regret feels so heavy is because we ignore the present. We compare it to a future that doesn't exist or a past we can't fix. That's why life feels dull, because your mind is somewhere else. But look around. There are opportunities right now you're missing. There are people you can call, tasks you can finish, choices you can make. You don't need a different past. You need a present you care about. The moment you let go of regret, you reclaim your energy. You stop wasting it on punishment and start investing it into progress. And that shift will change everything, because your life isn't defined by what you did wrong, but by what you choose to do next. 1. Admit it. Say out loud what you regret. Own it fully. 2. Find the lesson. Write down what you learned because of it. 3. Release it. Say, I'm done carrying this pain. I'm choosing to move forward. 4. Take one positive action. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Your past shaped you, but it doesn't define you. You are not your mistakes, you are your choices now. And as long as you're breathing, you have time to make better ones. Let go of regret. Focus on now. Build something you're proud of, not someday but today. Pain is universal. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, or how tough you think you are. Pain will find you. It's life's way of reminding you you're human. But here's what separates those who rise from those who crumble. What you do with your pain. Most people treat pain like a cage. They let it define them, control them, and even become their identity. But pain was never meant to be a prison. It was meant to be a teacher. Pain shows you where your limits are. Pain reveals what really matters to you. Pain sharpens your focus, but only if you stop running from it. People spend their lives trying to avoid pain. They numb it with distractions. They hide it behind fake smiles. They drown it out with noise, busyness, or even toxic habits. But here's the truth. Pain ignored is pain multiplied. It grows louder until it demands your attention. Instead of avoiding pain, face it. Sit with it. Learn from it. Ask, what is this pain trying to teach me? Pain often whispers lies. You're broken. You're not good enough. You'll never get through this. But pain is not proof of weakness. It's proof you're alive. You only feel pain because you care, because you're growing, because something matters enough to hurt. And that means you have something powerful inside you, resilience waiting to be built. Think about it. Every strong person you admire, every leader, athlete, entrepreneur, or survivor went through pain. They didn't become strong despite pain. They became strong because of it. When you face hardship and keep moving, you grow tougher. Not in a cold, hardened way, but in a resilient way. You learn how to keep calm under pressure. You learn how to rise after failure. You learn that pain isn't permanent, but your strength can be. Your pain can become your drive, pushing you to do better, live better, be better. Your empathy, helping you understand others in ways you couldn't before. Your wisdom, teaching you lessons you couldn't learn any other way. But this only happens when you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I build from this? Look back at your life for a second. Think of the things you thought you'd never get through, but did. At the time, it felt impossible. But here you are, still standing. That's proof. Proof that you're stronger than you think. Proof that pain doesn't have to destroy you. Some people wear pain like a name tag. Hi, I'm what happened to me. But pain is not who you are. The something you went through. You are not your heartbreak. You are not your mistakes. You are not your trauma. Pain is an experience, not an identity. You can honor it. You can learn from it. But you don't have to live in it. 1. Write it out. Journaling helps you process and release emotions. 2. Channel it physically. Exercise, sports, or even long walks can turn emotional energy into physical strength. 3. Create something. Many people write books, start businesses, or build projects inspired by their pain. 4. Help someone else. Turning pain into service is one of the fastest ways to heal and find purpose. Pain is temporary, changes, fades, evolves. But what you build because of it, the resilience, wisdom, and strength that lasts forever. Your scars can become stories. Stories that inspire. Stories that teach. Stories that remind others and you that healing is possible. Pain is a signal, not a sentence. It's life telling you, pay attention. Something needs to change. Something needs to grow. Instead of drowning in it, listen to it. Ask, what am I learning? How can I grow from this? What version of me is this pain trying to create? Pain gives you 2 choices. 1. Stay bitter, angry, and stuck. 2. Use it as fuel to grow stronger and move forward. One leads to a life of resentment. The other leads to a life of purpose. You don't get stronger by avoiding pain. You get stronger by facing it and building something from it. Your pain isn't the end of your story. It's the start of your transformation. Progress sounds good until it feels uncomfortable. And the truth is, your own mind will fight you the moment you try to grow. It whispers, you're not ready. What's the point? Do it later. This resistance, it's normal. It's not proof that you're lazy or broken. It's proof that you're leaving your comfort zone. And that's exactly why you need to push through it. Your brain is designed for safety and predictability. It loves routines, familiar environments, and anything that doesn't feel like a threat. But growth feels like danger because it's change. That's why your mind resists when you try something new. It creates doubt. What if I fail? It creates excuses. I'll start when I feel ready. It creates distraction. Endless scrolling, meaningless tasks, fake busyness. But here's the thing. Resistance is not a stop sign. It's a signal. It's your brain saying, this matters. This is new. This is different. Waiting for the perfect mood is a trap. Waiting for motivation is a lie. The truth is, action comes first, motivation comes later. Think about it. How many times did you not feel like working out, but felt great once you did? How many times did you dread a task, then feel powerful when it was finished? That's because doing the work changes how you feel, not the other way around. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And if you want to grow, you need to stop waiting for motivation and start training discipline. Your feelings will lie to you. You're too tired. It won't matter. One day off won't hurt. But discipline tells the truth. Every small step matters, especially on the days you don't feel like it. When you create habits, you remove the need for constant decision-making. For example, lay out your gym clothes the night before. Prepare your to-do list before bed. Block distractions on your phone when working. Habits reduce resistance because they turn hard things into automatic things. Your why is your anchor. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to grow? Why does it matter? When resistance hits, revisit your why. Because when your reason is stronger than your excuses, you keep moving even when it's hard. Your self-talk shapes your behavior. If you constantly say, "I can't do this," your brain believes it. Replace it with, "I'm learning. I'm growing. I can handle this step." You don't have to feel unstoppable, you just need to feel capable enough to start. Share your goals with someone you trust. Check in regularly. Sometimes knowing that someone else is aware of your progress gives you that extra push when your own energy is low. If your environment is full of distractions, you're making resistance stronger. Clean your workspace. Limit your exposure to things that waste your time. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, not excuses. Your surroundings can either help you win or quietly push you to quit. Some days you'll crush it. Some days you'll barely move. And that's okay. Because progress is not about perfection. It's about persistence. The key is to get back on track after every setback. Every time you overcome resistance, you build resilience. When resistance hits and you move anyway, celebrate it, even if it's small. Because every time you show up despite resistance, you're becoming someone stronger than your excuses. If it feels hard, you're doing something right. If it feels uncomfortable, you're in the right zone. The very fact that your mind is fighting you means you're stepping into a new level of growth. The goal is not to eliminate resistance, it's to act anyway. To take the next step even when your mind screams, "Stop." Because that's how progress is built. Not in perfect conditions, but in moments of discomfort that you choose to move through. The world is loud. Everywhere you look, people are shouting about what they're doing, posting every move, chasing quick validation, and trying to look successful instead of actually building success. But real growth, it's quiet. It's not about dramatic announcements. It's about creating a rhythm and showing up day after day, whether anyone notices or not. A rhythm is not speed. It's not hustle until you burn out. A rhythm is a sustainable pace that fits your life, your energy, and your goals. When you find your rhythm, you build momentum without overwhelming yourself. You stop sprinting and crashing. Instead, you flow, steady, consistent, reliable. 1. It builds habits. Showing up at a steady pace wires your brain to see progress as normal, not dramatic. 2. It lowers resistance. When something is part of your rhythm, it no longer feels like a chore, it feels like routine. 3. It gives you emotional stability. You stop feeling guilty for not doing enough or burned out for doing too much. Some people waste more time telling the world what they're about to do than actually doing it. They post, they announce, they brag. Then they disappear when things get hard. But silent work, that's where power lives. Because when you stop needing applause for every move, you start working for the right reason. For you. When you show up quietly, you don't need anyone else to validate you. You don't need likes, comments, or constant praise. Your confidence comes from your own consistency, not other people's opinions. This is how you build an unshakable mindset. I know what I'm doing, and I don't need to prove it to anyone. 1. Know your energy. Identify when you work best, morning, night, midday, and schedule your important tasks there. 2. Create simple routines. Don't overcomplicate things. A short daily ritual is easier to maintain than an intense plan you quit in a week. 3. Set boundaries. Protect your focus. Say no to things that disrupt your rhythm. 4. Track your progress. A simple checklist or journal is enough. You don't need to broadcast it, just measure it for yourself. Your rhythm doesn't mean non-stop work, it means balance. Some days are for pushing hard, others are for recovery. Knowing when to rest is just as important as knowing when to grind. Burnout kills momentum faster than failure. A true rhythm keeps you moving long-term, not just for a season. When you show up day after day, something changes inside you. Your confidence grows. Your focus sharpens. Your habits lock in. And the best part? People notice. Not because you told them, but because your results speak for themselves. Social media can make you feel like you're falling behind because you're not loud about your progress. But loud doesn't equal real. A lot of people shouting online are actually struggling behind the scenes. Focus on your lane. Stay in your rhythm. The people who stay consistent in silence often outlast everyone else. You don't need to crush every day. You don't need to be perfect. The win is simply showing up. Because showing up builds trust in yourself, and that trust is what fuels long-term success. You don't have to move like anyone else. Find the pace that works for you. Honor it. Protect it. Commit to it. Your rhythm is what makes you unstoppable. Not hype, not drama, not public approval. Find your rhythm. Protect it. Keep showing up silently. Because when you do, your future will speak so loud that you'll never have to. Quitting early is easy. It's the path most people take when things get hard. But here's the truth. Success doesn't belong to people who quit early. It belongs to those who keep going no matter what. To become someone who doesn't give up early, you need to think differently. You need to see challenges as part of the journey, not signs to stop. Obstacles are not proof you're failing, they're proof you're growing. This mindset turns you into someone who's unshakable. No matter how long it takes, I'm not quitting until I get there. Persistence doesn't mean blindly pushing in one direction forever. It means staying committed to your goal while being flexible with your approach. If one method doesn't work, you try another. If one door closes, you find another door or build one yourself. You adjust, but you don't abandon. That's how true winners think. People who quit early see failure as proof they're not good enough. People who persist see failure as feedback. Failure says, "This didn't work, so try differently. There's a better way, find it." Every failure contains a lesson, and every lesson makes you stronger for the next step. We live in a world addicted to speed, overnight success, instant gratification, quick results. But anything worth building takes time. Patience means trusting the process even when progress feels slow. It means showing up day after day with the understanding that growth compounds silently before it explodes publicly. Motivation fades. You won't always feel inspired, and that's okay. Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. Discipline is choosing to keep going when it's uncomfortable, boring, or even discouraging. And when you consistently make that choice, you become someone who finishes what they start. Your why is your fuel. When things get hard, and they will, your why is what keeps you in the fight. Why did you start? Who are you doing this for? What will your life look like if you don't quit? Keep your why in front of you every day, because when your purpose is bigger than your pain, you won't quit. Environment shapes persistence. If you're surrounded by quitters, you'll think quitting is normal. If you're surrounded by fighters, you'll push further than you thought possible. Choose people who inspire you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. You don't have to do it alone, but you do need to choose carefully who's around you. Persistence grows when you keep your eyes on the result, not the obstacle. Visualize what winning looks like. Picture yourself overcoming the current problem and moving to the next level. When you see it clearly in your mind, you push harder in reality. If you only celebrate big achievements, you'll get discouraged quickly. Celebrate the small things, showing up when you didn't want to, solving one small problem, finishing a task you've been avoiding. Each small victory reinforces your identity as someone who doesn't quit. Quitting often comes from emotional reactions: frustration, fear, disappointment. Learning to pause and control those emotions changes everything. Instead of reacting by quitting, you respond by adjusting. You don't throw everything away just because it's hard today. Sometimes you don't need to quit, you just need to tweak the plan. Persistence isn't about being rigid. It's about being flexible enough to adapt while staying committed to the destination. When you quit early, your story becomes one of missed potential. When you persist, your story becomes one of strength and achievement. The difference is one choice. Keep going when others stop. Becoming someone who never gives up early isn't a one-time event. It's a daily decision. Every morning you choose to commit. Every obstacle you choose to keep moving. It's not about being perfect. It's about refusing to quit when it matters. Persistence shapes your character. It teaches you courage, patience, and resilience. It builds skills and opportunities that quitters never discover. When you keep going, you don't just reach your goals. You become someone stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. Don't quit early. Adjust if needed, rest if needed, but don't stop. Because the life you want is on the other side of perseverance.